everyone. Welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Pei Ketron. I'm on the Lightroom team here at Adobe, and I'm here for the second day with Fernando Rodriguez, who is also known as the Nobody Photography online. Before we get into the nitty-gritty and talk a little bit more to Fernando about his editing in Photoshop, his retouching in Photoshop, I want to go over the schedule for today, just as a reminder for folks. So today on Adobe Live, we already did the morning daily creative challenge, and what we're going to be doing later today in our broadcast, we're here for 2 hours with you guys. In about an hour and a half, we're going to go through some of those daily creative challenge submissions. So be sure, if you haven't already, to go ahead and register for the daily creative challenge, and then start submitting your own images through Discord. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in just a second. In about 30 minutes, you'll want to stick around because we're going to be doing a chat and win. So again, for the chance of winning 100 stickers from Sticker Mule. So that'll be in about 30 minutes, so stick around for that. When we are done, when the two of us wrap up in about 2 hours, we will have another daily creative challenge for XD, and then we'll continue the Adobe Live broadcast with some other guests later this afternoon. But yeah, you have us for the next 2 hours. We're going to talk to Fernando about retouching. And so, yeah, do you want to do a little bit of an intro so that people know who you are in case you missed it yesterday? Thank you guys for leaving comments. We're so happy to have you guys here, and thank you for welcoming us back. Yeah, Fernando, talk to us a little bit about your work, and then while he does that, maybe I'll show some of his stuff on my computer. Can we do that?
Sure. Well, my name is Fernando Rodriguez, better known on the internet by the Nobody Photography. I'm fashion and beauty photographer. Right now, I am living in Mexico City, but I come and go back in San Francisco. What I really inspire me right now, it's like the color. I really touch like how can we create different scenes with color and how we can tell stories with color and fashion and beauty. So for me, it's I focus on this because you can have like a great opportunity to meet new people and to feed your creativity every time that you work with somebody new. So for me, that's mainly like my inspiration right now.
Mm-hmm. And you share your images primarily here on Behance, correct?
Yeah. Right now, my Behance is like for me, it's like a really good resource. So how I can show my work to the world, and Instagram also I work it. But for me, like if I want to show like a completed project, because what I do mostly and what I show in Behance is mostly like editorial, so you can see like the entire process and the entire image, the series of images. Sometimes in Instagram is like a little bit too much if you put like 10 images together or 12 images together. That thing, I can do it with Behance. So people like it's more like sometimes more interesting to see the entire series and a better resolution that it only see in Instagram when you have like not as.
Yeah, it's really impactful to see it so big on the screen, and my screen is a little too small for what these are right now. But yeah, it's really, really cool to see your work. And yesterday we started talking about one of your images, and we were going through the process of the retouching. And I know that we ran short on time yesterday, so you wanted to finish that up really quickly before we started a new image today, is that right?
Yeah, I want to like try to show you, because if I want to finish this photo, because basically this is my workflow. And this image is like basically what I do in my entire projects. The tools change a little bit, but yeah, I want to finish this photo so you can see like from the beginning to the end. And we can see more examples of what we can do in different images and like different tools. Like they'll be helpful for you when you're editing. Great. And before that, I want to show you just a little bit more like about the Adobe Color. Like you have more things like I didn't mention yesterday. And one thing that I really like and helped me in the past, it's this part, like it's extract from an image. I'll see like, and what you can do, and it's like a good cool tip. Basically, you can just like see the work that you like for photographers or art that you like, and you can just import it here. This is like a
that is very cool.
So Adobe is gonna analyze the photograph and gonna tell you exactly which colors they have like in every single, and the colorful, mask, and bright, mute, deep, darks, what the colors they use in the shadow. So basically when you are watching photographs that you like from artists that you like, it's like you have to ask you a question like, why do you like it? What color they you using? Which palette are they using? This is like a photo. Let me see. This one. It's from like a photographers that I really like, and for me it's really amazing how they use the color, how they treat the color. It's quite amazing, all the harmony of the colors, like we can see the palette and the darks and the shadows. So I think it's like a good resource, so you can start playing around, you can start like watching.
I think it's a really great learning tool, right? So for those of us who are sort of less color minded, being able to dissect an image in this way is really helpful, and
Exactly.
to not have to do it yourself, because if you don't know, where do you even start? So this is an online tool, color.adobe.com. Yesterday you talked about another tool that you like to use. What was that one called? The color.
The sign scheme. The ones that I do with the color wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is another tool that does something very similar, but in addition it has the color wheel. Do you want to pop over to that real quick?
This is like more complete, yeah. So you can play here like with monochromatic, try like complementary colors. It's a little bit more you can start creating your own palettes, and also it's like a really cool area here in Explore. You can see, as you know, like this is the Living Coral year, Antoni, so you can see like many different color palettes based on that.
Yeah.
And also you can see like what's like the trends, and that's also like really cool.
Yeah.
Like what they're using, and like this is an example, like but Harper's Bazaar covers.
Yeah.
So you see like what's out there and what can you take and use it for your projects. I mean, this is like a good resource if you are a little bit afraid of color and you don't know how to approach. I think this is like a good resource, so you can start seeing what the other people is doing and how you can take some of that information that's in the internet.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for sharing that today. I know we didn't get to see that yesterday. Thank you guys for joining in. Anna, Huxel, Anna. Oh wait, Anna said that. You're everywhere, Anna, in this particular window. Sam, Pequeño, hi. Thank you guys for joining us. So do you want to go into finishing up the image from yesterday? So. Yeah, those of you who were here with us yesterday got to see the start of this image, and got to see some of his process along the way. So we just wanted to wrap that up today, so it's not left unfinished. Hi, Marcy. Thank you for joining.
Hey,
yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them in the chat, and we will reference it every now and then so that we make sure we get most of those questions answered.
Thanks. So just to recap what I did yesterday. So what I did, this is like my raw image. I just did like a basic treatment in Lightroom and export it to Photoshop. So what I did first, I did the clean all my the skin and all the flaws that I have in the image, just like the makeup here, some errors in the background that we use some actions so we can see better in the check layer. So basically we have the frequency separation. I did the frequency separation technique. Then I separate my model from the background using the select tool and color range. Take the background and just like paint it over so I can sharpen my selection. And then I did the sharpen, which is a filter other high pass. What it does is just like select the edges and add contrast to make the image more sharpened. For me, this is like a better tool than the sharpen, but this is my personal taste. Then I use some actions to add contrast, which I already gave the actions to the Adobe team, so they're gonna post it in the chat very soon.
Yeah, so yesterday he was showing us these actions, and there were a number of comments within the chat about where where you guys could get his actions that he has been using for a while. I think sourced from the internet somewhere.
Yeah. Blogs, you can see, like, you can find like a lot of different actions on the internet. So you only just have to pick what works for your workflow, and that's it.
Are most of these available for free for people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the actions are free. I mean, there's some people who actually like sell them, but then you can find like a really cool stuff like for free.
Yeah, great. So what we're gonna do is, in a little bit, we will share a link in the chat to where you guys can download the actions that he showed us yesterday and possibly later again today.
Okay. So now after this, what I'm gonna do, we're gonna do like the touch and burn. It's basically touch and burn is like manipulation of the light. We want to play with lights and shadows so we can fix some like lighting mistakes. We can, there's a lot of people who we also like fix the makeup with light, because basically what like a pimple is just the direction of light. So if you have like a pimple, like some skin mistake, is just because the lighting is not good enough, and it's creating shadows and highlights. So that's also what I told them yesterday when I was doing the lighten and darken section and my frequency separation. It's basically the same principle that we're gonna do it like in a separate layers here. So there's two ways. I have like I'm gonna send you in the actions, and it's gonna be there the two actions called like dark and light, and just play it. And if you just want to do it at your home, basically it's just like a curve adjustment layer. If you add light, increase the light, that's gonna be our dodge. And we're gonna paint it black so we can hide it. And then we're gonna make the other one dark. It's like personal references. And we're gonna paint it black, and we're gonna name it burn. So that's it. That's it, like the two different layers, and we can group them. I'm gonna use my actions because I already have like set it up the way that I like it. We're gonna group it with Command J, name it touch and burn DMV. So for me, it's pretty important to name all my layers, because in case that I'm working and I need, and I see something that I don't like in some steps, I can go back and I can find that layer, and I just can edit it so super quickly. Because when you're sitting here, what you want to do is like cut time. You want to save time, and you don't want to go like layer, like just checking what's in there, what kind of information is there.
You're very diligent about naming your layers, which is great, actually. It's a good model for all of us.
So yeah, because imagine if you don't name it this, I'm gonna just name it like burn. I don't know what the name of the action is like that, but imagine if you're working with, I don't know, sometimes you can have like 50 or like 40 different layers, and you want to adjust something in the touch and burn, and just checking layer by layers. It's like a pain.
Yeah.
So for me, what we're gonna do right now, we have like my touch and burn, and we're going to start painting. Remember yesterday that I was telling you my actions, my eye help that I want for the touch and burn, the luminosity mask, which is gonna basically is gonna take all the color in the images, and it's only gonna show us the light. So see, we have like only light. We not get distracted with any color. So we want to paint. Before that, I just want to show you, when I paint, I use my brush and my opacity. I'm gonna put it like 10%. I use like opacity over than flow, and let me show you why just really quickly. We're going to paint this in black. We'll see what's going on, what's the difference between like opacity and flow. If you paint like still like 15, 20, this line, So now. I don't know, oh, because it's an overlay. The blended mode was an overlay, so that's why. So we're gonna make like a straight line here. And we're gonna paint it over, and we'll see if I don't like, if I keep pressing the line, it's gonna be the same amount of like pressure and the same amount of light that we're painting. So you want to go from like 20% that I'm painting to 80%, I just need to keep adding like some different layers of touching. But that's like, I'm doing this in 5 different steps. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See we have like the difference between the tones, and then the opposite.
So that was showing, you were showing flow there? Or
no, I was showing this opacity.
This is opacity, okay.
So if I'm doing like
building
flow,
on layers of opacity, okay.
what I'm gonna do in flow, I'm gonna put exactly the same. And you can see with a single, like, without taking the paint away. And if you're moving, you see how it's like increasing the amount of color you have. And you don't want this in your skin, because if you're like, once you're like, it's inconsistent. What you want is consistency, because then you're going to start painting, and then you'll have like these patches of color. And
that's a great tip, actually.
So for you, like, that's what I do, opacity over flow and Dutch and burn.
Yeah, this is a really, really great demo as well. It's a really nice way of visualizing it. So yeah, choose opacity over flow if you want to keep your brush strokes uniform.
If you're painting like, flow is good if you like doing some like gradients, and if you want to do like some shade, because you see you have like a better and like a nicer gradient. But for me, like in the skin, is just like my preference, and I think it's gonna help you if you do it like the same way. So what I'm gonna do and want to start doing with the chamber, I just want to fix some lighting mistakes, and then I'm gonna start doing like more volume because when you have like an image, what you don't want to have, it's like a flat image. You want to get some volume, you want to get some depth. So there's some parts that I feel like they're really flat, so we want to work. First of all, I'm gonna fix some of the mistakes that I'm looking right now. Like this little area has like a weird shadow that I don't like. I have like this area here. Something here, but pretty much is good. So we're gonna go to Dutch. I'm gonna take the brush or opacity. We're gonna put it like in 9%, and this is a specific area we want to start just painting. See, it's not gonna look too much of the change right now, but it's what you want to do is just want to do like super softly, so you don't have like a super intense effect. I think now it's, see the before and after, you see like,
oh yes, very subtle. I was gonna say
super
I don't
subtle.
see anything, but yeah,
Super
once you
subtle
look at the before and after, you can tell. And we have a question from Kushal about whether or not it works with stylus pressure.
Stylus pressure, no. You don't want stylus pressure here. What I'm saying, and I that's like, thank you for asking, because I need to check if I'm going to brush settings, and now I have, let's go to transfer, and just to make sure like it's no smoothing, just take away the,
excuse me guys,
the
sorry.
smoothing, and that's it. Yeah, you don't want put pressure, because once again you want consistency, and if you put like pressure, it's going to be first of all, it's going to be really painful for yourself, because you need to put like a lot of pressure, and if you want to emulate the same texture, the same I don't know how to say it, when you're pressing, you don't want to have like different shades. You need to control it, and so for me it's better just to turn that off and do it everything manually. I think sometimes when we're thinking about the pressure, it sounds to us like it's gonna fix us a little bit more, like our life, or it's gonna help us more to do less work. But no, in this case, it's the opposite. So now we're gonna fix a little bit of this area, this light. So you want to start painting. Once again, it doesn't seem like it's doing a lot. This area, you see, like we have like
I can see a little bit.
tiny light there. So we want to paint it.
So it's a good reminder to zoom in and be very painstakingly careful about what it is that you're doing.
And also when you're doing this kind of like treatment, as I said before, this is I'm gonna do it because I spotted like before, but it's like a good tip. Always start like looking your image, like go away a little bit. You start working in an area and you start getting super detailed, and you zoom out and then you'll see like, oh, I overdone it. It's like way too much. So this is like also like focus in an area, but start like zoom in and zoom out so you can see like the changes.
Yeah, don't get too wrapped up in the details.
So you see like it's a little bit of change. I think we can work a little bit more. I don't want to just tiny areas. As you can see, it's really subtle. There's some areas here also that I want to fix. And well, this process, I'm doing it here like a little bit faster, but this can take you like at least like 1 hour, like half an hour, like to doing like a really good work, because it's like fixing different stuff. But let's say like I like it like that way in terms of like the lighting and the lighting flaws that we have. Now maybe a little bit here. And then I'm gonna start doing the same thing, but just giving more shape into our image. I want to like put more play with the shadows and the cheek, so I can give. See, we have like this is the reflection of the earring. So I don't want to completely disappear, because I think adds a little bit something good in my perspective. And now we're gonna start doing like the entire face. So gonna go with burn. I almost sometimes like most of the time I always like start with burns to give a little bit more of the volume, and then add the highlights.
Okay.
So we want to start with this area. What I don't want to do is go way too much. So my opacity, I'm gonna go from 9 to 6. And it's gonna be less, but you'll see. Sometimes it's better. Just you go down and do a little bit of more of this work. As you can see, we gained up a little bit more of the shadows here. This area. This is also when you start doing this, it's always good to talk with people like like your makeup artist, because they know exactly what the model needs in the face, or they know like okay the shadows are here, you have your highlights must be here, like a good like a good makeup how should turn. So basically you're like taking tips from them and applying to the image.
Yeah, that's actually a really great point. I'm thinking of those makeup artists who are really great at contouring, right? So when you see the base levels of contouring on makeup, it's so drastic, where they have these really like dark swaths and bright swaths and stuff. So this is really just kind of you being a makeup artist, like a contourist.
Exactly, we're fixing
with Photoshop. That's cool.
Because sometimes like the makeup is great, but the picture, like the lighting was weird, and so you need to help to make it look how it's like you were looking in like in real life. So
yeah, we have a question from Avinash. What is the difference between actions in Photoshop and developing in Lightroom?
What's the difference between what?
Actions in Photoshop and developing in Lightroom.
Well, no, developing is just like how you are adjusting the photo,
The sliders.
the sliders in Lightroom. Actions is like a conjunction of different adjustments. That you have like a preset, you can save it, and you can do also actions in Lightroom, I think.
So you can't do, so you can keep going and I'll explain this. So you can't do actions in Lightroom. What you can have instead are develop presets. So essentially what those are you can think of them as recipes for how your photos should be edited, how you want it to look. So if you apply a preset, it will basically pre-arrange and move all of your sliders for you in a way that will give you, this nice looking image that's sort of a predetermined look, right? So you can apply a preset, it moves your sliders in Lightroom. If you're using actions in Photoshop, it's different in that it's similar in that it's kind of a recipe. It's saying, hey, I want these things, this whole sequence of things to happen to this image. So the actions that he was showing yesterday, for example, would do things like create a layer. You added like the solar, what was it called? Solar
The
flare?
solar curves.
Solar curves. You had all these different layers that were pre-applied with layer masks and whatnot, sort of ready for you to tackle them and work on them. So it's less so. It's less of just moving sliders like it is in Photoshop. It can be much more robust because Photoshop as a program, in terms of the layers and whatnot, is much more robust than Lightroom. So it's kind of two different ways to approach the same thing, but with Photoshop actions, you'll generally end up, it can be much more of a thick, set of layers and whatnot.
So as you can see, I've been working on this part of the nose and the eyes, so give like a little bit more of the volume. As you can see, like before and after. Once again, it doesn't look that much, but now we can see right now like a change, like a little bit more considering. Once again, it's good to go and see if we like it. I think I like it. Maybe a little bit strong here, but we're gonna continue and we can check at the end. Yeah. So I want to a little bit get more shadows in this part, so I can also like give shape into the face.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go into the background. So what we're gonna do here, we have our selection here. We're gonna command and take the mask.
Oh yeah, because you already selected it yesterday.
We already selected yesterday. Remember, we got it here in select and save load selection, and we had it here in channel. And I name it model. So now everything that I'm gonna paint is gonna be inside of this. So we're fine with the background is gonna be intact.
I have one question. We have about a minute before the chat and win, but I want to answer this question because we're going to lose it otherwise. Garrett is asking, why dodge and burn on separate curve layers instead of 50% gray soft light layer?
Curve layers instead.
Does that make sense to you?
Can you be more like, I don't know.
Garrett, do you want to... why don't you follow up right after the chat and win? Because right now, as soon as the chat and win starts, we're gonna lose all of these questions. So right after the chat and win, just ask this question again, maybe reword it, because I think we're a little bit unsure of what specifically you're asking about. So again, chat and win in about 30 seconds. If you have walked away from your keyboard, be sure to come back so you can leave a comment in the chat thread and be qualified for our sticker mule giveaway.
But I think if you think like why separate, because we want to have like non-destructive layers. That's why we have like a separate layers, because we don't want to like just paint over on her face, because we can do it like that. I don't know if you're referring to that, like we can just paint it in the master layer, but if we want to, if we overdone it, we're gonna be screwed because we have no step back.
Yeah.
So this is like a way so you can control all your
I'm gonna
layers.
pause. Sorry, we gotta pause for our chat and win. So we have some time. Leave a comment in the chat pod to qualify for our sticker giveaway. Leave any comment you want. Tell Fernando how awesome his work is. Tell me what your favorite superhero is. If I didn't see your comment yesterday, you want to talk about dogs again, I'm happy to read about that. But yeah, just start leaving your comments in the chat and we will randomly pick somebody to win 100 stickers from Sticker Mule. So you can load up your laptops or whatever with some cool stickers.
Outside of Photoshop.
Hi, welcome back. Thank you guys for leaving all of your comments. Superwoman, yes. Let's see, Batman, Doctor Strange, love it, love it. So, thank you guys. Chatty McChat, yes, love it. So, just keep those those comments coming in, and we will pick one lucky winner. It'll show up in just a second. Thor, thank you, Eric. Oh, 2 Thors in a row. Awesome. Let's see. Destiny says, my laptop is filled with stickers, but I can never have enough. Definitely. There's always room for more stickers. Who's your favorite Disney princess? Val says mine is Kylo Ren. I agree. Pretty awesome. Black Panther, Captain Marvel. Love it. Ariana, thank you. I love my sticker too. I'm very proud of it, actually. So if you have a dog, tell your dog I said hi. Okay, we have a winner, Adjective Beaver. So congratulations. You have won 100 stickers from Sticker Mule. We'll reach out and get your info so we can send them to you. So thank you, guys. Michelle, thank you. Say hi to your dog too. Okay, so we can pop back over to Fernando's screen. And I just want to make sure we have enough time. So we have about an hour. Wait, yeah, we have about an hour left.
Okay.
And I know you want to finish this one and then go over a second image. So
yeah. I want to show you like some tricks in the other image. In the other images, we're not gonna do the entire thing. I just want to show you like different tricks that I have, different options, exactly.
Great.
So for this one, I'll keep working it. As you can see, we have. I've been working also like in this part of the nose, like in the T zone. I don't know if you. It's like basically in the nose and the front head.
T-zone.
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 So I want to follow like this light. So that's good when you have this and the black and white, like luminosity layers, you can see more how the lighting is acting and where's like direction and where you can follow it. Sometimes if you have with colors, it's really distracting because you have a lot of different elements.
Yeah, getting rid of the color in your view allows the light and the shadow to really shine through.
So you want to keep going. I think I'm going to work a little bit on the lips. We're going to give a little bit more volume. You see if you add shadows in this part of the lip. And it's basically, I don't know, like a good principle about Dutch and burning is like how if you make like a circle in Photoshop or Illustrator, how you turn that circle into a sphere.
Yeah.
Adding just like shades and highlights.
Yeah.
Just like, that's a good technique if you want to start practicing before like doing this kind of stuff. You can do that with circle.
That's a great point, actually. It's just like taking a two-dimensional circle and turning it into a 3D square. That's how you think about doing the contouring. Do you think this knowledge translates into makeup itself? Like, do you think you're like an amazing makeup artist?
No, no. But
I think know all the tricks. So.
I'm not. The thing like here, I'm not creating something. When like a makeup artist, he's creating or they're creating like something from scratch. Like, it's like a painting like from scratch.
That's
I
true.
just basically just like following the light.
Accentuating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also it's always good to so that's what I'm saying, when you can fit your creativity and your techniques, like just talking with people, because once you have this and you can send it to like a makeup artist, like somebody you have like a really trust, like and say like, hey, can you check this and tell me if it's right and if I'm doing a good job, or what aspects should I go like a little bit stronger or less intense. So that helped me a lot, because they're like the specialists on that. So we're photographers. We're not like makeup artists.
Yeah, yeah. I would be terrible at it.
And with the time, you like develop like this a little bit sense of what's right and what's wrong. And just at the beginning, how can you steal information from a lot of different people? And
Yeah. So we have a question from Ang Bo. Question yesterday. Yesterday during the portfolio review, you mentioned matching the skin tones with the background. How do you choose the right ones? Do you think that's something that the Adobe Color picker
yeah, that's
can
what,
help
when
with?
you're creating your palette, and you'll see like the sort like how much. This, for example, we have like so much like of this cyan blue, and our palette is gonna be like, the main one is gonna be in the background, so we need to complement that color with these other two. So that's how you're going to decide if you want to add more elements. So you only need to see which elements and which colors do you want in your composition, and get more presence. If you have like a lot of the blue, maybe I can accentuate the yellows. Maybe I can make a little bit work, so it's everything is it's in a good composition, and you don't have more voice of one or other element. So basically here, as we can see in the palette, this is half of the sides of the palette,
yeah.
and this is the other half. So we have to balance our color.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Destiny's also asking, when you did the sharpening yesterday, did you lower the opacity or use a blending mode after defining the lines?
I blended the opacities like linear light.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
if you and I can also, if you think it's way too strong, just you can decrease the opacity. Because I think it's a good way, because it was a little bit too much for me. Once again, a lot of this, like playing with the opacity, is gonna depend of your own taste. And you'll see like once you develop your own voice and you like aesthetic, you will see like what do you like and what you don't like. So I think
Yeah.
so far I have like get more shape in this part of the nose. Now the nose looks more defined. Play a little bit of shadows here. Try to give a little bit more presence in the lip. I think I can play it here around a little bit. If you want to also like get more like contrast in the clothing, you can also do it. I'm not really going to do it in this particular image, but I mean it's also in the hair. That's good to have always our selection, so we can give a little bit more of. In this case, we have like a highlight here that maybe I want to make a little bit stronger. So it's like more contrast between this and this. So we give that's what I'm saying is give more of volume to the hair.
Yeah.
See, we're gonna play here with the shadows.
I feel like I'm learning all your secrets. It's so cool.
And see like how like this hair, I don't know if maybe it's too subtle, but turns into like a flat hair, and then we
Yeah.
have like more movement.
Yeah.
And also here we can take some of the shades here, like this area we can create more contrast between the shadows and the highlights. So once again, this takes more time, but let's do it like as fast as we can, just to show you. And once again, this as a skin cleaning, this is going to be like testing your patience every single time. Once you like get used to it, it's just like faster.
Yeah, and you kind of don't realize how big of a difference it makes.
Until you see it.
Yeah.
Until you see before and after.
Yeah.
So, and once again, this is going to be depends of your image, how much you want to take in from. Maybe you want not that many adjustment, or maybe you want to take it more. Just make sure, try to give the more natural look. So for me, I think pretty much done here. Let's see that once again in lighting, and I think I see something, but I don't quite like it. Got light spot here. See, now it's more even.
Really takes a trained eye.
You need to, yeah, a little bit more training. Just watching and watching. That's just hours and hours in front of the computer.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. We're gonna save it because we don't want any surprises.
Do you want to do before after from the beginning to the end?
Sure. I'm gonna show you how it's like from this point to here. Yeah, before here. So now we're gonna do with the, now we finished the Dutch and burn, like in a rough way, and we're gonna do the color grading.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna, just so you know, I'm going to paint my main steps that I do. This is like what you always gonna see in my Photoshop files. We only have like the frequency separation, tone, touch and burn, and we're gonna go to the color. We're gonna erase this luminosity because it's only like a check layer, so we don't need it anymore. And in case we need it, we have it in actions. And now for color, I just want to put the saturation, play it, and hue. So in saturation, it's good to analyze once again before we start doing our color correction and color grading. Which colors do we have? Here we have like some yellows and reds and the shades here. I think we have some parts that I really want to reduce the saturation color, especially in this area. This area we can also fix on it, and I'm gonna show you how to do it like in a easy way.
You're getting compliments. Sergio says, your work is amazing, and Vince says, great layer structuring. So
Oh, thank you.
you're doing
You'll
great.
see it at the beginning. It's a little bit difficult to keep consistent your layers, because once that you get used to it, it's just like normal to you, and I'm telling you, like, it's gonna reduce a lot of time once you're like trying to find what's about different mistakes that you want to go back. And the hue, the saturation, sorry, we were saying about the hue, like all the colors we have. So we have like the yellow, and as we have our palette, as you can see, we have like seeing here, we have all the skin is yellow. We have like yellow in their hair, and the other color, the magenta, we have it here. So I think pretty much it's kind of balanced. That's what I'm saying, how you can plan your photo shoots beforehand, so it's gonna save you a lot of time and figuring out this kind of stuff. And we'll see the saturation. The saturation, I think I see some spots that I want to desaturate, just like at this spot that I don't feel comfortable about it. And as I'm saying, if you see it in the screen, maybe it doesn't make like a real like a big deal, but if you print it, these details might come out, and you don't want to see like a really good skin tone and you have like oversaturation and those part of the face, because somebody with a like you or somebody with a trained eye is gonna see this and it's gonna be notice definitely like is like a mistake. So we're gonna do this. We know like two areas we want to change. for this is gonna be easy. We will not try to desaturate this area and want to merge a little bit this color integrated with our skin tone. We're going to hue saturation. We're going to, with this and this part, we want to pick the color and not touch the part that we want to fix. And the channels is gonna detect that we have in the reds, all the reds. And we only just going to decrease the saturation a little bit. Just a little bit of perception. You can see like it's kind of mashing. So we want to hide it. So because only want to target this specific area, and we want to paint it. And I increase our opacity. Also, we can our brush. So we want to start painting. Once again, maybe you don't see like right now the difference, but it's there. I can guarantee you.
Yeah, I can see it.
See how it's like less saturated. Once again, it's like not like a big of the difference, but that's why I call it retouching. You're like just, and this part is gonna be something similar, but what we're gonna do is the same. Let's name it this set. No, we're going to go to hue and saturation, and we're gonna pick this color. It's also on the reds. So what we're gonna do here, we want to use our slider of hue. It's basically what I explained yesterday. Hue is the real color, the true color, and saturation is the amount of color you have like in a specific area. So we want to start slide out a little bit. So we can see, remember when we have like the, I want to hide it a little bit. We have yellows here and reds here. So we want to turn this red into yellow. So we can match these two areas.
Oh, okay.
So here we want to move your slide a little bit. And once again, it's like tiny touch. And we wanna paint it black, so we don't want to affect the entire area. And we just want to start painting. As you can see, I think it went way too much.
Maria's asking, when you zoom in, there are some white specks on her skin, and she's wondering what that is. So, like,
this?
where you were up by her nose, like that, like white spot right there, those white spots.
This?
No, like under, yeah, these ones, like those.
Oh, this is just like sometimes can be like part of the makeup, like highlight dots.
And then,
we should fix it.
Yeah, I was curious why you didn't get rid of it.
Yeah, I think yesterday we were like trying to do it like in a fast way, but yeah, on a normal basis they will get gone. We can just fix it like a little bit later when we finish it, like
when we're on the right layer.
Yeah, but
we're playing in other layers now.
These places are like really easy to go. Maybe so we wanna go with this part right now and see how like the difference like colors.
Yeah, it's subtle but noticeable.
Subtle.
It's like the pink reflecting off of her jacket.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's the shade. It was like because of the pink. So I think pretty much we have so it's set. Anyway, now we wanna move a little bit. We have like some mistakes that we want to get fixed, and we want to name this palette. I'm gonna hide it, and now we're gonna start doing it. First of all, what I do in my images, always go to black and white. And I'm gonna start playing with the blending mode. my favorite blending modes that I use and different. That once again is gonna depend on the image you want. I'm going to decrease a little bit the opacity. The ones that I use is like multiply. And the multiply, what it's gonna do is gonna affect the shadows. As you can see, it's gonna make all the shadows stronger. If you go to screen, it's gonna be the opposite. It's gonna give us like this more like high key end. And that one that I use right now is called soft light. It's basically like a mix between multiply and screen. It's gonna affect both. It's gonna increase a little bit in our shadows and our highlights. And another one that I use a lot, it's saturation. What it's going to do is basically just desaturate your image. So I think I invited you to play around with these blended modes in black and white and see how different it's gonna turn to the image. In this particular case, I'm gonna pick soft light. I want to both shadows and highlights get affected as well. So I'm gonna put it like on 15%. I think it's something that I like. There you go. Perfect. So I want to pick this black and white and all the adjustments we did. I'm gonna Command J to group them. I'm gonna name it color and gonna paint it in red. So as you can see, now I have like my 4 main blocks in my workflow. We have the color, we have the dodge and burn, we have the contrast, the tone. I'm gonna rename it contrast, and we have the frequency separation. So that's basically my workflow. So now after we did this, we're going to play with the colors in our shadows, midtones, and highlights. That's basically what's going to be the end looking of our picture. So for this one, I'm going to show you how to use the color balance. The color balance tool is a pretty good tool to adjust color. So as we can see, we have like the tone. It's separated by shadows, midtones, and highlights. The only problem here that I have is like if I want to go to shadows and I start like moving our values, it's going to turn like pretty good, but it's going to affect not only the shadows, it's going to take a little bit more of the middle tones and highlights. So I want to be more specific. So what should I do? What I do, and I sent you already the actions. We have like an action called here, luminosity mask. The luminosity mask, we're going to separate our image and midtones, shadows, and light. So we're gonna select the 3 of them. We're gonna play it, and you'll see what's amazing it's gonna do. We go to channels, and then we have like all like lights. But what is good is like our lights is separated by different levels. So if we can go like the more general light and get in like closer and closer until you have like the very few like highlight spots. It's gonna do the same with the shadows. You see you have like the general, and we go into, we have like a very dark areas in our image, like the nose and part of the eyebrows. That would be the hair. And we have like selections of our middle tones too. It's getting double here because I was already applied before, but anyway. So what we're gonna do in our image is we wanna target like in a specific area of. Here's because I need to select, yeah. So what I wanna do here, I wanna go to shadows. I'm going to paint it in black, and I'm going to channels. So I have to select which intensity of the shadows I want to get affected, I want to select the first one. With command and touching the layer, you're gonna make like a selection. So here you're gonna go to color balance and paint it in white. Now everything of your adjustment you're gonna do is gonna affect only in that specific area. So we can start playing around with the values of our. So I want to look for the shadows. Give like a 10%. Oh, once again, be careful because every time that you go out and go back to the adjustment layer, it's gonna write in midtone. So you need to change it to shadows. And this specific
goes to
one.
the default.
This is the default. So you wanna name it this shadows. As you can see, like now, change again to midtones. So just be careful. So
Good warning.
We're gonna add a little bit of blue and a little bit of magenta. For shadows. Once again, this is based on the color palettes. I want to like give some like more contrast between the shadows and the midtones and the highlights. So that's why we're gonna separate like in 3, so we can see how it's gonna turn at the end. We're gonna make like another color balance. We're gonna name it midtones. We're gonna paint it in black. Go to channels, and we're gonna select the midtones. Go to midtones and paint it. Now everything that we're gonna do is gonna affect only the midtones. So here I want to like give a little bit of more like the yellow look, so we can complement and we can balance our image here. So I want to give a little bit of yellow, not that much because we already have like yellow. And I give a little bit of magenta. You can see how it's like making difference. How our shadows like highlight. And finally we're gonna do with the highlights.
It's always amazing that each edit that you do is very, very subtle, but each of the subtle pieces built on top of each other create a pretty drastically different image, which is why it's nice. I know, Pokey, you're saying that it's weird because it kind of seems, it looks the same as it did yesterday, but when you look at the before and after, it is actually quite different.
Yeah, so that's like it's better to go subtle, so you can, at the end, you can adjust like different things that go super drastic, and then kind of reduce it is a little bit harder. So now it's gonna be the same here. We're gonna name it highlights. Paint it black. Go to channels and command to take the selection of this light number 1, and paint it in white. This one I want to get more of the background color, so we can make the contrast between the yellow and make a little bit cool the highlights. So we're gonna go here in tone, highlights. I'm gonna add some cyan. I think I went way too much. I wanna give like this kind of washed out look to the image, like
to match the jacket.
And also what I want to do, like a little bit, I want to match the lips with the jacket. I'm gonna show you that. It's a little bit darker, so I want to like make it lighter. So here you go. We're gonna group this. Color grading. So here we have like before and after. It's like not that much agreement. That's how I want it to, because since we have like a pretty strong palette and we already play with it, I just don't want to do like any drastic changes. But once again, it's up to you. It's you now you have the knowledge and the resources, so you can play around and see what do you like and what do you like.
And I just want to point out also that the the displays will show this all differently as well. So it, what you're seeing on your screen at home might not be fully representative of what he's seeing on his screen here, and that's important to remember, especially when it comes to these like really subtle color details.
So see, it's like before and after. I think it looks like a pretty big change,
Yeah.
at least to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So we wanna see just like how it's like before and after. So there's like some changes.
Before, after,
there.
yeah, definitely.
So now we're gonna just like fix the color in the makeup. I want to fix the color on the lips and the jacket. So now inside of our group, we wanna make like a selected color. I also use this adjustment layer a lot because you can like edit like every single color. See, and now I'm gonna target the yellow part in specific. So what I'm gonna do, I just wanna take a little bit of the yellow. I want to do like more subtle the color. And it's magenta. Once again, it might doesn't look like that much, but it is. We want to paint it in black and just want to paint it really subtle. This is like, let's see how good am I like painting in the darkness. When you're retouching, like that's what I'm saying yesterday, is like illustrators are really good with that because they have a lot of control of their wrist, and so they can paint some areas. Basically, that's what you're doing. You're painting. So
And that's where the tablet comes in really handy as well.
Yeah. So if you do this in a mouse, it's gonna be like, I don't know, 2 or 3 different times, and it's not going to be as good as this.
Yeah, or just with your trackpad on your
The
laptop.
trackpad, no, the trackpad is a little bit even worse.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did it, and I tell you because I did it in the past, and before I got my tablet, and I was like, when I got it, I was like, oh, I was wrong my entire life. You see, I think we have like a pretty decent one. Some details here and there. You can just like. There you go. I'm gonna name it Jello. Now we're gonna do the same with this part, the seam. And as we can see, we can just like make the adjustment here and paint it later. I want to get a little bit more of the seam percentage. Just a little bit. And take away the Jello. I think it's again doesn't look like a big difference, but it's gonna be just tiny adjustments that I like to do. Yeah. Remember to name all your single layers. Don't leave any layer without the name, because, and it happens to me like sometimes in the future you need to go back into an image to retouch something that you notice, like, oh, I made a mistake here, so I want to fix it. And if you pass like 3 or 4 months and you see like an image, and if it's named, you can do like fixing super quickly. We're gonna paint it. Want to get the opacity. So yeah, maybe you can, with more patience, we can do it like way more detail. I'm gonna try to do it like faster.
Avinash says exceptional Photoshop etiquette. Naming all your layers and everything. Yes, I totally agree.
Thank you. We wanna paint here. think I did it like a, no, that's good. But the thing is, like, because we are only editing what color, it's not gonna affect the other one, so it's not a big deal here if we cross the line a little bit, just to make sure. And we're gonna do the same with the lips. Lips, I wanna make it like way lighter because I feel like they're too dark in color. So we're gonna go to the reds, and the yellows we're gonna take it down, and the magenta too. Same. Take home like a little bit of a difference.
I like how you say we're gonna take it way down, and I'm like, wait a minute, I can see it, but just barely.
And I'm gonna name this lips. And we're gonna start painting. So sometimes it can be a little bit boring, like a guy doing this, but promise you it's gonna get better your workflow. So doing it, and I think I have like I went a little bit over and some areas, so I'm gonna fix it. There you go. I think I can make it a little bit, even like a little bit lighter, so we can match it with this. Can go around here, and the blacks we can give a little bit more light, decreasing the blacks. So now we're gonna group them, call them makeup. So we can see we have like different group paths, like we have the color grading, then we have the makeup. We can see when you group them, you can see like what's the difference between before and after. It's really subtle.
Yeah.
I like it. One thing that I noticed is when we were like color grading or middle tones, we add the yellow, so we kind of make the teeth like a little bit yellow. So we're gonna fix that pretty easy with hue and saturation. Put it or selection with color with the yellows and just decrease the saturation. Also like, and paint there. Key. So I want to paint it again. I'm gonna put the brush, just paint it. I think I can just give a little bit more. I don't want too much light. Let's say, I think that looks good. So I think we have the before and after of color grading, so we can spot that. We almost done. Something that I missed that I want to do it before I forget is gonna just change a little bit, fix a little bit my background color. So what we wanna do, I'm gonna take my selection, gonna adjustment layer, select the color, and now we're gonna invert it. Command I. So now everything we're gonna do, just to make it like clear. See? It's only gonna change. That's how you can also change the colors of your background if you want. And our subject is going to be fine because we already did like a pretty good selections before. So for here, I just want to get a little bit more of the cyan, decrease the yellows, and the magenta. And we can do it here. A little bit more light. that's it. So once again, doesn't look that much, but it is. We
Yeah.
can like a little bit more of color. We're gonna name it background. Sorry, I misspelled it.
Yeah, and Val, thank you for reminding the group that we have just under 20 minutes left for your daily creative challenge entries. So if you want to submit and hopefully have us review them here on the air, please do that within the next 19 or so minutes, all right?
Okay, there you go. Now to the end, I wanna give some like more presence to the jewels. So what we're gonna do, and I like this too, I would like to explore this. We go to adjustment layer, color lookup. So we have like different lots here. Like we have it like in settings in the Photoshop. So everybody's going to have this. You don't need to download. You can
Okay.
download a lot, but this is
So you can download more.
yeah, you can
but-
download a lot of looks, but basically I use the ones we have here.
Okay.
So as you can see, I like this one called Kodak. As you can see how like going to make the difference with the juice. I paint it. And go here too. And see, we increase the contrast between the. So every single look is gonna do like different adjustments. I think it's a little bit too much, so I'm gonna reduce the opacity like 50%. I have the before and after.
Yeah.
And for the final
It is
look,
very subtle, but yeah.
I'm gonna do another one that I like here is called Crisp Winter. So I just want to give a little bit this entire filter to an image, but it's gonna be super subtle, just to balance a little bit more of the yellows. So I'm gonna give like 8%. Once again, if you feel it's too strong, you can reduce it, or you can play it with your blended mode. You can do it with color. You see? So this is my final image.
Awesome.
So I think just like what I want to tell you and showing all these adjustments is like the section you have in your image, the more control you will have, and that's how you can really play around and take different results, and you can like upgrade your technique.
Yeah, this is definitely a reminder that to do this really like Jason said, this really hardcore retouching, it is very detailed work and takes a while. So be patient with it.
Patient.
Focus on the details. Don't get too lost in the details, and see what you end up with.
Yeah, and now when you have like your palette and you want to correct something, now it's like the fun part, because you have all your selections and you only have to move values. So you imagine like, okay, I want to make my background a little bit lighter. So okay, we just need to find the layer name background. That's it. You can play around. See, if I want to make a little bit more of this, then I think we have like there you go.
That's great.
So this is how I, from the beginning to the end, one photo. And it's good to have, what I do sometimes, if you have like a series of photos, I just like take this color adjustment and paste it to another image. Imagine we have like, well, this is the same one, but this one, whatever. And imagine this is the same photo. It just like got all my color adjustment and start like, I have all my values there, so you kind of mash it up, so we have like a consistency between my photos. Okay. So, yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. And I think now you're gonna show us
Yeah.
another image, not from start to finish per se, but just different.
Yeah, different
options.
techniques, like different tips that you can apply to your image. So here right now, yesterday we checked how we can separate our background and the model with the select color. Now we want to see how can we separate the model, and here's like my raw image. This is like no, and we'll see if we have time to make a lot more adjustments. But right now I want to focus in how we separate the model, because we have different elements and you need to decide what do you have to separate. In this particular photo, I want to separate like the model and all these flowers from the background, so I want to edit them individually. So what we want to do, I already did like the cleaning. It's a little bit much. I'm gonna talk a little bit about this project in a little bit, and I'm gonna show you like what did I do the entire series. We're gonna go to quick selection tool, and then we're going to go here and select and mask. You can do it from here or inside of the select and mask.
Destiny's asking if you took this photo.
Yeah. This is I'm gonna show you like why did I do this, because this is like the example how a color works in a series of image, and how you can tell like a story based on like clothing and colors. So what I want to do here, we have different view options. We have like the overlay is the kind of the one that I use the most, and black and white. Yeah, you can play with the opacity. Like if you see like here, we're not gonna see anything because we have nothing selected. So we want to decrease like in a 50%. And here we have like our quick selection tool. So what we want to start doing, we want to start like touching our model. You see like Photoshop is pretty good now, how kind of like detecting edges.
Yeah.
Well, here I went over. See how it's kind of reading. Let's do it like roughly. It's also like I'm gonna show you how can you refine your edges. See how kind of try to select everything you want to separate. This is going to be the tricky part because we have a lot of different elements here. That's what I wanted to show you. Oh, sorry. We're taking too much. I think it's the size. I don't know what it's doing that. Hold on. Sorry. And the thing is, because we have similar tones.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the tolerance or something.
Yeah,
right?
the tolerance. So.
Yeah. So how do we do that? How do we make the selection when the
You
tones
can-
are so similar to the background?
When it's super similar, you can just do it by hand. So we have different options here. In this case, we have like, we can use the brush and see how you're gonna basically painting.
Yeah.
You're gonna paint all this area and we can refine it like a little bit later. You're gonna paint it here and there. So you can show every single aspect of your image.
And how careful do you have to be about the edges?
Yeah, I right now I want to reveal all these areas that we want to. And now we can put this in the minus. See?
I see.
See what's like
Oh,
a
it's
little bit
quite
strange.
good, yeah.
This is like really quick,
Yeah.
but it's not as refined.
Yeah.
It's just doing like a quick selection right now. So after here, in there. We have different edges here. In these cases, I think it's better if I just select it.
Yeah.
So you have different resources. One is that, and another one that I'm gonna show you, we can just like paint it like as a brush, or you can use the lasso tool if you want to do it like freehand, like your selection, or the polygonal lasso tool, which is like, I think it's a little bit better. So you have like different ways to select your, oh man.
Yeah, and Destiny says this is just the select and mask, right?
Mm-hmm. Just to select and mask, exactly. But this is, I just wanted to do it like with a little bit different one, because the one that we had yesterday is like, oh, it's not like the entire image. It's like very few images you wanna have like that easy selection. So
Yeah.
now you have to struggle with that. So anyway, I wanna start by giving a little bit
Good to
here.
know that I'm not the only one with the same struggle.
Yeah, no, it's like a.
It's tricky.
It takes time. Like every single image is like different challenges. As you can see, like this image, maybe I don't have to deal with all this skin the skin cleaning, because it's like pretty much like easy.
Yeah.
But now we have another problem, so we need to.
There's always a new challenge.
It's not.
around
It's
every
nothing.
corner, yeah.
Never is gonna be easy. But what are you gonna do?
Destiny's asking what camera setup you use, and I know you mentioned it briefly yesterday. Do you want to talk about that again really quickly while you do this?
My camera setup.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's gonna depends a lot if you're working like an event, outdoors or indoors. But I always try to maintain my ISO like the lowest, like 100. That's my. Because if you like start increasing, like you compromise the noise in your image, and I rather to add the noise at the end of the photo and have like control in my of the noise, and not to have it from the camera and then you have to find like a way to reduce the noise.
Yeah. So in terms of settings, shooting at the lowest ISO possible to maintain
exactly
as low of a noise level as possible, and then I think. Maybe she was curious about what kind of camera you use, because she was talking about affordability and whatnot. So you're.
I think I have like a Nikon 7100, which is pretty cheap. So it's not like I have like the best gear in the world. I think it's just a matter of time how you use it and how like you can get like super expensive camera, but if you don't know how to do it. So I recommend it all the time. Like get like a cheap camera so you can start training and you can like what I always think is like the best thing like a photographer can happen is like everything goes wrong in a shooting, because that's the time where you want to start like in a real time how to find solutions for many different ways. So
problem solving real time.
Exactly. So and you have like the pressure, especially if you're working with models or people there is like, okay, I need to do this, and that's how your brain is going to start like acting fast and find solutions, and once you have like better equipment, it's like, oh, okay, it's easier now, but you need to have like a lot of problems to in order in the future you can solve them. What I'm gonna do here, I don't want to do it that much because I know we don't have that much time. And the hair, we're going to go to this area, the refine edge, and this is gonna be really great because what you're gonna do is you just paint it here, and Photoshop is going to detect the edges. As you can see, like he's painting like a little bit of the hair. Maybe you have to do it like a couple of times, but it's going to work pretty well as a selection, because we have all these hairs. You can see like these
Yeah,
areas.
little
which is,
tassels
like,
and stuff, yeah.
so you only have all just to keep painting. And this is like because Photoshop, in this tool we have this one, which is the edge detection. I don't particularly use it because it's like kind of hard sometimes. It depends on the photo, of course, but if you have like a kind of like hard background, like it's gonna be really difficult for Photoshop to identify and separate like well. So I just rather to do it manually. Sometimes it's getting a little bit more rough. See how like we separate the hairs, and as we can see here, you can do this in black and white and see how it's doing it. So we have like some parts like we don't really like. What I want to do is add some contrast. What it does here, like the selections here, like basically here in this part, I want to see it this way. If you add to it, want to make it more smooth or selection. You don't want that. In feather, it's going to increase the blur. And what contrast is going to do is just contrast. Here in the shift edge, what it's going to do, if you turn to the left, you decrease it, the selection is going to be inside of the selection. If you go to the right, it's going to be outside. So I think what I do for the hair is that in these particular areas, what I do is basically use the lasso tool. So if you want to but you have to press like the option, because now you have to
add to selection.
There we go. There you go. So that's we're gonna do this entire image. Lucky that I just did it before. So
Yes.
because it took it's gonna take like a long time. So we're gonna select, load selection, have the model.
Nice.
Basically we have like all these, as I told you before, is patience. You can see like
Yeah, if only it was so easy we could just turn it on like that every time.
So this is what I do when it's like a little bit more hard, the selection. I want to, how much time we have?
Just over a minute, and then we'll have a few minutes right at the end to wrap up after we go through the daily creative challenge.
Okay, so I just want to, what I was talking about color and how you can tell a story, I just want to show you this particular project, because it really like defines how can you tell a story with color. So basically I'm going to show you the entire image. When I create this project, it was like I'm really fascinated by like power and how power can affect humans and how it can really show you the real color. That's what I tell. Like if you want to know somebody good, you have to give it a little bit of power and you'll see how it's like in reality.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do here is like create like a kind of like a story about like, I don't know, like a princess who, how pure she is when before she got the power, and how it's like somehow the power is like degrading and making her like really ugly, corrupting. I don't know, have you seen something similar like what happened with the series of The Crown?
Yeah, I haven't personally seen it, but
yeah, and here like as we can see like how it started like with a lot of whites, how like purity.
We're gonna have to wrap this piece up after we go over the daily creative challenge submissions. But yeah, I mean I definitely want to see that. I want to see more about it, or I want to see all about it. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for submitting to our daily creative challenge. The challenge today was basically how to make a photo look vintage. So what we're looking at here is Discord. So if you guys aren't familiar, if you're not in here, go ahead and download it. At least, you know, it might be too late to get in for today, but if you haven't gotten it yet, then perhaps for starting tomorrow, you can start submitting your daily creative challenge submissions through here. So what we're gonna do is kind of go through these options for submissions that people sent in where they made their photos look vintage. And that can really be taken in so many different ways, right? Like this kind of makes it look more like a vintage illustration, right? You might see this on like a poster for like an ice cream store or something instead of being more like a sepia tone vintage image or anything like that. But yeah, I can kind of help like flip through these if you wanna, we can look through them together. If you have feedback on some of these submissions. Oh, so Val did Val, you did some variations on this robot. I see different shading, different details being highlighted. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
So here from Ant is his submission for today's vintage challenge. Yes, and Val, thank you for commenting that you can get the Discord link on the Daily Creative Challenge page. Ant, it looks like you cut this phone booth out and separated it from the background, right? Here's some rut. Yeah. That's interesting, adding this like film look with the dust and scratches and stuff. Do you find yourself ever doing that kind of look?
Not right now, but I mean in the future, of course, we can like try different things, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I just realized that the bikini has been colored like the water.
That's cool. It's pretty cool.
Abraham with a rocket. And before, top, after, bottom. This is Pando-chan used selective color, channel mixers, and grain.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, that's nice and subtle. That's
I like
kind of...
the colors.
Yeah.
The colors, it looks like the Vice color, the Vice bike. Miami Vice.
Oh, Miami Vice, yeah. Yeah, I like the subtle grain added. Empty rooms, so using for a window challenge. I'll show it. I'm not sure what specifically the window challenge was, because that's not today's. But let's go back up. Let's see what else we have. Ryan, thank you for these. What do you think?
Looks really scary.
I mean,
it's like a
I just noticed the
abduction,
man.
right?
I was so focused on the edit that I didn't even realize that there was a person flying through the sky.
I like it. It's kind of creepy. That's a good job. It's a really good job.
Yeah. It really does look like a photo that I would have found in my grandparents' photo album. Yeah, that's a really well done, really well done image. Also, you know, the original image was also really nice. So it's interesting how different it looks.
How different, exactly.
Great job, Brian. Gerard. So yeah, again, isolating the objects. Yeah, and Val was saying some people took it into the old photo direction. Yeah. Let's see. So lemon bits with a plant instead of a robot. So isolating it. Yeah, I mean, that's such a hard thing to do, right? Isolating it from the background and then just making your edits on it. Yeah. Here's some robot from Sean. Cool. Love all the robots. I mean, R2D2. Bab Sams is asking, oh, is there too much noise? I can't even.
I don't see it.
I don't see any noise. It's cool to have the solar system kind of projected onto that. So that was the before for the robot and the after from Sean. Here's another from Jordan. Yeah. And then, So, okay, so Rebelli Neil, so Neil maybe, has these couple images. So some black vignette added to this one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I like it. I like the colors.
Mm-hmm. This definitely feels vintagey. I like that there's still color in the car and it's not all sepia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it.
And then Neil added this white vignette as well. Which one do you prefer, light vignette?
I like the first one.
The first one. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit increase the colors a little bit here, but overall it's...
increase the colors or?
No, decrease, because it's a little bit
decrease,
distracting.
yeah. Yeah, I think...
I want to focus on the car.
Yeah, I would agree, actually. Sometimes when you add a vignette, it might saturate unintentionally. Rutger, thank you. Thank you for telling me your dog says hi back. And so thank you, Neil, for submitting those photos. Okay, so here's another one of a robot with that figure isolation. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I need to practice that myself. Valder Leonardo says Deadpool after playing with the time-traveling device. So this is vintage Deadpool, which is kind of a cool idea. It is funny because you never really think about these sort of like modern day characters viewed from like a vintage perspective, right?
I like it.
Oh, there was the original. Nicely done. And then, oh yeah, here's some feedback. Somebody, Action, had feedback for Neil with this image, which we've already kind of seen before, but these are some of the earlier edits. So the feedback was, I'd fix that perspective of the building on the right. What do you think about perspective corrections for stuff like this? Like, are you bothered by the fact that it's kind of distorted?
Sometimes. I mean, in this particular photo, I don't. But yeah, depends on the image. But yeah, I like it the way it is right now.
Yeah.
You see the other one?
The original one?
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, yeah, I think in this photo, I don't get that much like distracted by it, but yeah, in some photos, if you have like more lines, you can be like it can be really bother me, like, oh, there's like too many like different angles. So
it really depends on what the main subject of the image is, what the priority is, and right now this car just takes up such a big chunk of your field of vision and like really calls your attention there that to me the perspective distortion didn't bother me all that much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it depends on really depends on what the subject is. So yeah. Great, thank you, Neil. Okay, let's see what else we have. Ooh, okay. So the original, this might have been for another challenge, but here's the original. It's kind of fun seeing kind of the mix of different challenges and stuff in here. So the original, and it's a little small, but hope you guys can see it. Some layering, adding some mountains and trees here and this waterfall in the background.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool, that's fun. I kind of miss the yawning tiger in the back, or lion in the background, but yeah. Okay, so Val shared her robot again. Okay, so this was another another challenge, I think. Yeah, definitely. It's, you know, sometimes it's, you take it so far that your image doesn't look like a photograph anymore, and it looks more like a drawing, right?
Drawing.
Yeah. Okay, and then this is the before. Oh, this was the original image from C. Yeah, so it's kind of already looking a little bit less like a photograph to begin with. So Dr. Fire took this and turned it into this. So a little bit of flipping. Yeah. Cool. Oh, here's another before after. So here's the before. This is from Julie Vick. Moulin Rouge. Making it look vintage. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty, also, like the original photo is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that what do you think about the color red being left in there?
Well, if they wanted to like vintage, I think it's cool in that works for that.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a little bit more contrasty, I think, to make like a little bit more dramatic. But yeah, I think in general terms, I like it.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Julie. Here's one. Okay, so here are a couple options from J Mata. So a vintage car. Oh, wait. My boss asked me to make a picture of his car look vintage. So here's the before and the after. Okay, so he did an after, and then somebody gave him feedback to reduce the grain and the noise levels a bit. So this was the third option. Yeah, I think that was a good tip. So I think, who left that tip? Jarrett? Yeah, great job. This looks really nice. J Mata, thank you. And then here's some from Jarrett. So Jarrett was the one who just gave that feedback. Here's the original. So here's the second option. Some dust and scratches added, some desaturation. But then he even said, I think it might be too desaturated, so he added some of the green back into the plants. So this was his final version.
Yeah, I think it was like a good adjustment. It's better.
Good choice, taking the greens back. Yeah. Do you think the dust and scratches work well?
Yeah, like it. I think.
Looks like this photo's been folded up in your back pocket for a while.
For a while.
Okay, so here's, I think this is maybe from another challenge, but.
Looks nice.
Are those feathers falling? Yeah. Yeah, I got some perspective with the giant feathers in the foreground. Cool layering, yeah. Here's another. It's amazing what you can do with Photoshop.
Yeah.
I wonder where this started from and how it ended up here. Yeah. And let's see what we can do. A few more. Let's see what we have. Panda Chan did a poster for a local bar event. So I guess maybe not part of the Daily Creative Challenge, but still some work that's being created by the community. So thank you for sharing those
nice
here.
Artwork.
I like this box. That was not easy to do. Brett Lands did an album cover. I like the parental advisory sticker. Nice touch.
Yeah, that's
Right
very
here.
cool. Nice. I will buy that album
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, here's some from Eric. Oh, here's the moon. I'm to see if we have any more like vintage ones from today's challenge. I think this might be, I think we've gone back far enough. Yeah, these are yesterday's. So awesome, perfect timing. Thank you guys. Thank you for submitting your daily creative challenge options right here in Discord. And again, if you don't have Discord, you can find a link to it on the Daily Creative Challenge page. And now we have 10 minutes left with Fernando before, ta-da! That's how you get Discord, guys. So join us in the chat. We're here all the time. You can share any of your work, ask questions, get feedback, just be a part of the Photoshop community here. And we'd love to have you. So let's pop back over to your machine, Fernando, and let's finish talking about that series that you wanted to show us. I really want to make sure we see it.
Okay, perfect. So basically what I was saying, it was how can we present like a series of images to showing that transition between like when you started before getting power until you ending. So we did it like in the studio just with this background that I show you, and we had like just to tell that story with makeup, clothing, and colors.
Okay.
So basically it was like kind of like talking with the team, what's like the main goal and where's the direction. So they everybody contribute. So we started like with this like clean look. I kind of wanted to look the makeup since the beginning kind of crazy. So just to define it like a path, like she's like in a crazy world already.
Yeah, and was this a personal project or something?
Yeah, this is like for a Mexican magazine.
Okay, so was it commissioned for this particular?
No,
your idea.
It was my idea, and I presented to them.
Great.
So, kind of like showed like the colors, like white colors, like kind of presenting the purity.
Yeah, it's so interesting because they're still so dark.
It's so dark.
Which you know, when you think about white and pure, you often want to think of bright, but this goes to show that you can still have that darkness.
Exactly, because I wanted to like present like in this world which is already like everything is kind of wrong, but she preserves her purity. So kind of like going a little bit, going to the
slowly transition and see how like kind of want to make play with the colors to give like more attention to this part, the flowers, how it's getting like more like rotten. Is that stripe on? So you had the stripe in this image and the previous two as well in the background. Is that just on your backdrop?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's like it was super huge, so we have to put it like in the ceiling too. I don't know if you can see it here. It's like here. This part is ceiling. So this is like the wall, but this is ceiling.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna see like a couple of pictures where you can see them more clearly.
Okay.
So now he's like getting more like the mixing between white, black and white. And now you can see like some more detail. I have like the ceiling here. So as we can see like the transition between this makeup and this is already like happening, you know.
Yeah, it's same model in all of these.
Same model,
right?
yeah. So how like the colors is like changing now. It's taking like she's already like a queen.
Yeah.
And see how like the makeup and all the like the features getting dark and like now we have like the white in the background and get it like more like a royalty color, which is like the blue.
Yeah.
And this is the image we just got it, and now it's like getting a little bit more and more dark. See how like the makeup now, it's kind of like a variation, but it's part of the same process, like how we gonna. And now like another transition, like when she's like getting more and more into like the power rottenness or something like that. And I don't know if you can see it here, but the makeup is getting like more like cracked.
Yeah, like crusty looking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Destiny says very sinister. Your work is beautiful.
So he had like more like the dark is gonna be like a more like a pretty like a main color here. So now we're gonna show like how she's going to completely change herself.
Nice. And that motion is nice.
and then that's kind of like the end, like the final stage, like. So how like the final figure of her, like the real and rotten person, like no facial expression, like primarily like dark colors, like just this pink just to remind like how she was and what's like what she's right now. So
Yeah.
so basically here's like I just want to show you this, just like a storytelling with colors and
Yeah,
different.
that's amazing. Where, I'm sorry, how many images is this?
This is I kind of cut it down, but I made it like.
Oh wow! So there's more than what you're showing us here.
This series is like well longer, but right now it's like 24. I think like
18, yeah.
18. I think it was like kind of like 24 or 25.
Okay, and then how long did that the shoot by itself take? Not all the retouching.
Oh, the shoot by itself, it was like 12 hours.
You did that all in 12 hours?
Like all the changes, yeah.
With all the makeup and all the, that's impressive.
Yeah, and the retouching, it was like more than that.
Yeah, the retouching. Well, I mean, I've seen what it takes for you to do one image, so I know that with 24
especially
images,
this because it's kind of like personal, so I put like a lot of attention of different like
yeah,
images.
I think we all kind of think about we give our personal work a lot more love and attention sometimes than our client work. Yeah, I love this one. Yeah. They're great.
So if we have done a little bit of time, we have time? Or,
yeah, we have like maybe 2 more minutes before we need to wrap up.
Okay, I just want to show you this picture. I kind of work on the skin already. I just want to show you it's like a beauty image, and this is like main focus on the hair. So I'm going to show you, I want to clear the hair and this part, as you can see, like these white lines, and this is not adding anything to the image. So what I want to do is going to create like an empty layer. We're gonna go to clone stamp, put it like darken mode. I'm gonna fix the shape, and we just start cloning. Oh, you wanna put like this the sample and current them below. So you wanna start painting. You have to be really careful because it can happen what I just did. But we wanna fix all these later hairs, like it's distracting, you know, like it gets distracted by her. So painting all here, we wanna give like a completely dark part here, so you can see like before and after.
Yeah. Talk about details, right, guys?
This is like a lot of details. Like I wanted to present this, but I knew if I wanted to fully edit this image, it's gonna take like the entire 2 images, the 2 hours.
Yeah. But it's still cool to see. And I've done some stuff like this before. I'm glad I'm not the only one. But yeah, it's totally detail oriented. Yeah.
So it's basically the same. That's what I do here and there.
Yeah, and so somebody a few comments up was just asking for like a quick Photoshop tip. So here you are. Here's a very quick Photoshop tip right at the end of our broadcast. Yeah.
Clone stamp, darken, and you start painting. Just try to take it away the hairs you don't want to.
It's a good lesson on things that we should be paying attention to that we might not be paying attention to, right?
And it totally makes the difference. Like if you see, just like
absolutely.
what I did really quickly, makes like a big difference.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your secrets, your ins and outs, your tips and tricks. And I wanted to just show my screen again really quickly. If you guys are interested in following Fernando, he can be found on Behance here, the Nobody Photography, and this is the primary place where he shares his work. So definitely follow along here, especially because you guys are all already on Behance since you've already joined us. If you guys love Instagram as well, you can follow him here on Instagram. And notice that his username is slightly different here. It's nobody_photo on Instagram, and on Behance, the Nobody Photography. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being so active. We really loved our last 2 days spent with you, and thank you, Fernando, for sharing everything with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was like a pleasure to me to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you. All right, take care and stay tuned for the XD Creative Challenge next.